Hi there, I'm Martha Van Dam and this is Living Beyond. And today we're going to talk about 5 things that if you are struggling with depression, 5 things that could be making it worse. These are 5 things that people tend to do once they begin to go down the path of depression. And these 5 things can help keep you trapped in that place. So watch for these 5 things, see if this is something that you find yourself doing, and then you'll want to look into breaking free from some. In the next video tomorrow, we'll talk about 5 things that you can do to help yourself be relieved from depression. So the first thing is stop judging yourself. There's this concept called the second arrow. A thing happens to us, that's the first arrow. Zing, we get it. But what we tend to do is then hit ourselves again with that second arrow. So the first arrow is you're depressed. The second arrow would be, well, and I'll beat myself up for being depressed too. Depressed and beaten. We don't need both of those. So no judgment allowed. You're not allowed to hit yourself with the second arrow because this thing has come upon you. Number 2, we tend to ignore our body. Don't you know when you're terribly depressed, you don't feel the energy to go up and get the bath and get the shower, to put on makeup or take care of our hair, any of those things. We tend to ignore things that have been important to us in the past. It's a really good sign to watch for somebody that you love to see if they are struggling with depression. But if that's something that you've got going on, that could be another thing that you're doing that can help to keep you in that swirl. Number 3, well, you haven't had a bath, and that just makes it that much more difficult to go and see someone. So what do? We tend to pull back. We tend to isolate ourselves from others. So number 3 to ask yourself is, have I isolated myself from everyone? We actually do need connection with other people. So look for that to see, am I isolating myself? Number 4, then another thing that happens is we've got so many feelings going on when we're depressed, or we're completely blunted and we feel nothing. Either one of those can feel quite overwhelming, and what we tend to do is just try to ignore it. Just ignore it. And the just ignoring, pushing away, trying to avoid the feelings or the bluntness is not helpful. We really want to spend some time leaning into those feelings and dealing with them, but we'll talk about that in the next video. And the last one to avoid is drugs and alcohol. Actually, alcohol is a drug, isn't it? But it's kind of a natural thing. People often go to that if they're feeling really, really bad. But what we find out is, especially long term, over a little bit of time, that it's not helpful. Yes, it may make you feel a little bit better for tonight, but it's not going to long term be helpful. And it also can create a pattern that could lead to addiction pretty quickly when we've learned to rely on a substance to help us find peace again. We don't want to have to rely on something for peace. So number 1 is this is a no judgment zone. You cannot judge yourself. Number 2, you do not need to be ignoring your body. Number 3, do not isolate yourself. Number 4, give your feelings expression, don't avoid them. And number 5, stay away from drugs and alcohol. Those are 5 tendencies of what we tend to do that we need to stay away from. Watch for the next video where I'll talk about 5 things to help you if you are feeling depressed. I hope that you have at least a peaceful day. Thanks, and bye-bye.